All right. Hopefully you like the one with Grace last week. She had a lot of good stuff. They're going to be heading back to school in UNC and NC State and wherever it is you might go if you're in school. If you're watching this week, I have Patrick Cunningham. I've known Patrick since a while.
Long
We
time.
have known each other a long time. I think I was probably in 8th grade. You were in 6th grade or something along those lines. So we've known each other a while. He is a head tennis pro in South Carolina. He's going to tell us a little bit about that and how he got there and what it is. So, Patrick, who are you and how's it going?
Thank you. Yeah, good, Collin. Good. Yeah, I've known Collin a long time, since back in the days grinding at Bermuda Run Junior Excellence Program. So that's kind of where we started. And yeah, I've been in the tennis industry I really started teaching when I was like 16, doing young folks tennis, which was like for underprivileged kids in Winston-Salem. They might still do it. I'm not positive.
Where was that? What courts were that at?
We did it at Haynes Park, and we
Okay.
did it at there's another public courts. I can't
It was
remember,
like
but
Miller or Polo or something like that.
yeah, maybe Miller Park, not Polo. Yeah, it might have been Miller.
Okay.
And
And for
like,
those of you that aren't sure, Haynes Park is where Reynolds is,
yeah,
RJR. So if you're not
yeah,
familiar with it, that's the area.
yep. So I kind of started there and went to play Division II tennis at Lees McRae College. Played there for a season. Didn't work out with the coach, so ended up coming back to Winston and went to school at Forsyth Tech, and then I started working full time at Bermuda Run Country Club, and that's where I was with Collin for a little bit. Collin was there, and I was there probably for like 4 years, maybe, working as an assistant pro. And so Collin was there as well. We worked together a little bit there. How long were you there?
I was there for a year.
Okay.
And then I took that job up in Cincinnati.
Okay.
Otherwise, we would have probably stayed working together for a little bit longer.
Yep. So yeah, assistant pro Bermuda Run, and then ended up getting an assistant pro job in Fairfax, Virginia, and that turned into a director job. So I was there like 2.5 years.
So you've been a little bit all over the place.
Yeah. Now I'm all the way down in South Carolina now, and I've been the assistant pro at River Hills Country Club this is my 4th year here.
All right.
So yeah, I moved around a bit.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you and I have talked about what's going on with, professional life and professional tennis. And we were talking before this came on about what's going on in the professional tennis world. But like COVID has obviously taken the world, unfortunately. And you kind of have, like I have, like face-to-face, hands-on kind of everyday job.
Right.
And working with a country club, don't want to stereotype, but that's typically, older clientele for the most part, or younger kids who are getting into tennis. So how has this kind of affected you as a tennis pro throughout this whole ordeal?
Yeah. I mean, it's been big. Gosh, what's it been like? 5 months? I don't know. It's been like,
yeah, right about 5. Because our
months.
last day in school was Friday the 13th of March. So
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, we've been since like middle of March. We kind of had a period where we got slowed down. South Carolina's been a little more lenient with guidelines and restrictions. But I think we've done a pretty good job. So, our club is, things are definitely different, but yeah, I mean, we're trying to, we have masks on if we're grouped together with a lot of kids, but tennis, fortunately, I think you can do a pretty good job of social distancing and spacing people out. But yeah, I mean, everyday stuff, just now we have cleaner, we spray the balls down with.
Yeah, we got to start doing that next week for us.
Yeah, so like every half hour when we have we're spraying the balls down. We spray everything down at the end of the day. We have a cleaner. We spray everything down, all the benches and gates and all that stuff. Yeah, no socials. I mean,
no mixers or anything like that.
No morning coffee. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's definitely been crazy. But we're about to bring, knock on wood, we're about to bring socials back, I think.
It'll be interesting to see how it goes.
In some form, because South Carolina has now allowed mass outdoor gatherings. So
hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, but we're going to be, we're going to limit the numbers, and there's now everyone they're supposed to be wearing masks. And
Right.
so yeah, especially with River Hills, it's an older clientele. So we try to make sure they're following guidelines, and we're definitely trying to do that. So yeah, it's been different for sure.
Do you think that, whenever we do eventually see the other side of this, any of those cleaning routines is something that you might keep up with?
Um, that
Like, I
is
know
an
right now it's
Yeah.
obviously over the top, but
Right. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't see what the big deal would be. It's like at the end of the day, just spray all the balls down. I mean, it's not that hard to do that. Obviously, yeah, right now, like I said, we're doing it every 30 minutes when we're out there. So yeah, whenever we get past this, I think there will be measures like cleaning, that I think will probably stay. I think cleaning, just spraying everything down at the end of the day, I think is an easy,
yeah, and
you
it
know,
seems like, it wouldn't cost that much and it's
15
an easy
minutes.
peace of mind.
Yeah, I mean, our the kitchen staff, they can get all these cleaning chemicals, pretty regularly in bulk, so we have enough to deal with that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's something that'll probably get passed on, and probably continue doing that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I know that you're spent your whole life around tennis, and I know that just because I've known you for almost our whole lives.
Yep.
But what they might not know, and maybe some of them do, because some of the ones that we coached to Bermuda Run are now on the Davy men's team.
Right.
Um, so they have a little bit of a history with this. But have you always wanted to be a pro? Because like I know that when we were younger, like you and me and Alex and Matthew, like our whole group, were
Right.
hoping to have some kind of job in tennis. A
Right.
couple of us do, and some of us don't. But is that something you always wanted to do?
Yeah, I think probably like around, like when I came back from Lees McRae, so after a year of college, um, and which actually made me hate tennis probably the most I've ever hated it.
Isn't it
But
funny how that works?
ironically, yeah, it kind of made me, when I came back, like I really started playing a lot and was like trying to play some like men's open tournaments, and like really, I guess, like re-fell in love with tennis. And then yeah, I mean, I was back working at Bermuda Run, and I just kind of, it just seemed like I was always drawn to tennis. And yeah, I mean, it kind of, at that point I knew that's definitely what I wanted to do. And so now I'm kind of at a point where I still love tennis and want to stay involved with it, but more, I'm actually going back to college right now, and I'm finishing my degree, um, to hopefully get more involved with like maybe the PR side of tennis, or something more, not necessarily on court all the time. So something still involved with tennis, but maybe a little more office oriented, not just on the court. Yeah.
Because I know you said you had a friend that works with the WTA,
Yeah.
and he'd be kind of talking to you about what that goes on. He's not on the court all the time. He kind of gives you kind of the behind the scenes view of all that.
Yeah. So he works on the tour and doing public relations. And yeah, I think something, and now with COVID, there's kind of been this whole new market. There's a whole new job market that's opening up in professional sports. And I was talking to him the other day, actually. And they're trying to get like, yeah, directors of like health, and like directors of like health and sanitation. Like they're trying to get people to come in that will kind of help implement these guidelines. And I don't know, that's something that's been interested me a bit now. So yeah, we'll see what happens, but
And
definitely
it's
involved with tennis.
and it's like anything else. You can get into it doing this one thing, but you never know where it's going to go. So even if you
Right.
go into it as like a COVID kind of response, health and sanitation, who
Right.
knows? Maybe a couple years down the road, you're working at Indian Wells or something, a
Exactly.
big place like that.
Yep.
And for those of you that don't follow tennis like we do, and some of you might, WCA is professional women's tennis, and Indian Wells is a tournament out in California. It's considered to be one of the 10 biggest tournaments in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
It's really great. I know you've been out there. I haven't had a
Yep.
chance to get out
Yeah,
there
I
yet.
think, yeah, a lot of, they call it the fifth slam, right? That's kind of like the big. You
Right.
got the 4 Grand Slams, and the Indian Wells is kind of, yeah, it's amazing facility out there. That place is awesome.
And
Yeah.
people trying to make Miami be one, and I don't. Indian Wells is so much
Yeah,
better
I
than
just
Miami.
don't, like, people try to sell me on like, hey, let's go to the Miami. It's like, I don't really want to go down to Miami. I don't know. Indian Wells is, yeah. If you guys get a chance to go out to that tournament's awesome. I've been to the U.S. Open, and I would much rather go to Indian Wells over the U.S. Open for sure. So
Yeah, and that's something we kind of give each other a little crap about, because he got to go up to Flushing Meadows and watch U.S. Open, but then I got to go over to London and watch Wimbledon.
yeah,
So
oh, I would have loved that little
yeah,
tour.
I'm still upset that I got to see Kerber beat Sharapova, which
Ooh.
was a whole big thing. And then we got one set into Andy Murray playing, and it started raining. I
Oh
was like,
no.
oh man,
Yeah.
um, but whatever. I know
I got to see
Rosenbaum, if you're
you.
watching this, you love Murray, but
I got to see you win a 5-set battle, so that was pretty awesome on like a side court at the U.S. Open. So that was pretty cool. Yeah.
so I know you went to Tabor, and we can put that aside for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but do you have any general advice for my students at Davie or anyone at Davie that's watching this, or just anyone in high school? I mean, I assume most of them are at Davie because that's how they know me. But
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest thing for you guys now is just finding something you can enjoy doing. For me, it was tennis. I mean, for me, it's tennis. I mean, I think for Collin, it's teaching. Just something that you can be passionate about and don't feel like you're directed in these lanes where like this is what you need to do, this is what you should do. Definitely find something you enjoy doing. And for me, tennis, it usually doesn't feel like work. Sometimes it does. Everything does. But for the most part, like we had our advanced camps today with some of our like higher level juniors, and I mean, it just flies by. I mean, you're out there and you don't even really realize that you're working. You're just trying to help these kids get better. So yeah, just find something you can be passionate about and enjoy doing.
and I think that that's something that Grace last week kind of echoed. But also, if you start something and you start going down a path, maybe you want to be a tennis pro. Don't think that's what you have to do. Like if you get into it and you don't like it, find something else. Like
Right.
don't feel like the sunk cost fallacy of, well, I've been teaching and I have my pro license, so find
Right.
something else.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, and like I mentioned earlier, that's kind of where I'm at now. I mean, I've always wanted to finish my education. And so now doing that, luckily my job, it allows me to have time to also do that. But I always have tennis. I mean, tennis is always there. It's always something I'll enjoy. So, I can kind of rely on that while I'm, trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to
Yeah.
go next. So, yeah.
So again, you were a freshman, I think, when I was a senior. Um, I think we were, because I think it went myself, and then Matthew was a year behind me, Alex was 2, and then you were 1 below him.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
obviously we didn't get to share a whole lot of high school experiences, and we weren't at the same school.
Right.
But do you have any big regrets from your time at Tabor? Or if you don't have any regrets, anything you like, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I would have taken this class, or
Uh,
joined this club or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I wish I had kept my intensity with tennis like throughout high school. I think as I got, um, I'm sure some of you got. I mean, I got senioritis as I got like
Yeah.
late junior and senior. I didn't focus on what I should have been doing as often, and kind of got distracted and was just more having fun than working on tennis. I kind of wish I had spent, if I had spent my senior year really, really grinding and really working at tennis, I mean, maybe I could have gone, to Division I or somewhere a little higher level as far as, tennis instead of Division II. So yeah, that's probably one regret, is just kind of not taking tennis as seriously when I was at that point. The next step is college, and I kind of let off towards the end. So
And I know that I didn't think I was going to play at the next level. I think all of us had the capability to do
yeah,
so. But I got hurt, and I know you kind of had that burnout. But I mean, all of us felt burnout, and that's something that we would talk about. So, most of you are probably freshmen and sophomores, maybe some upperclassmen. You're probably, if you're really into a sport, regardless of what that sport is, you're probably going to hit some burnout at some point, and it's okay to take a step back. Just, like he's saying, think about the end goal in mind. Like take some time off, reset your focus, but don't let it kill the sport for you. I think
right,
it kind of happened to both of us, that like we were on the court 3, 4, 5 hours a day, 5, 6, 7 days a week, and it became
yeah,
more of a job than fun, and it wasn't fun.
yeah, for sure. I mean, and it might take you guys. I mean, you guys, high school. Like I said, I definitely didn't know I wanted to be a tennis pro in high school, and I mean, I don't know, I still probably thought I wanted to be D1 at least towards senior, and then, but having that bad experience in college with the team, and then getting out of it, like I said, that kind of really just like reinvigorated my love for the game, and I wanted to actually. I started working, relatively hard and trying to play a lot more, and so yeah, if you're passionate about something, it usually comes back. It usually just doesn't go away. Just might need a little time out. Yeah.
So for my tennis players that are watching this out there, what would you say are, three big tips for how to improve their game? Like, what would you say? Obviously, it's the big thing like court time, but let's try to find something else. Because I've got my three. I want to see if they're similar to your three.
3 big tips. Well, I was actually talking to the kids today, and it's not just the kids I work with. It's every kids I've ever worked with. It's just work ethic. Like if you guys want to be better, I can't tell you that. I mean, Collin can't. We can only do so much. Like you can't teach effort. It's really hard to teach effort to kids. That's kind of one of my big things. Is just if you really want it, like you need to be. You have to put the work in on the court. If you're doing the practices and everything, that's great. But it's that extra time. We have one girl in our clinic. I might have mentioned her to Collin. I want to send Collin tape on her because she's like 9 years old. She's this Russian girl, and she is just like a psycho in a good way. I mean, you ask her how much she played yesterday, and she'll be like, well, it was raining, so I did shadow stroking inside for 2 hours. It's like stuff like that. Like she puts in work without us even having to tell her. So yeah, work ethic is definitely my big one. What's on your list? I want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously work ethic, regardless of if it's athletics or academics or professional, like you can't teach effort is something.
Right.
And I can, and Patrick and whomever your coach is, your teacher is, we can put it out there on a silver platter for you. But if you don't want to put the time in, it does not matter what we do.
Yeah.
So that's one. I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking, tennis specific. My big thing, my big focus, and if you've been on my teams or if you've coached with me, my big thing is conditioning.
Yeah.
Like you might get beat because the other person was a better player, but you don't lose. You get beat. So any kind of sport, you need to put the hours in outside of regular practice and outside of just skills. So whether that's hitting or like ball skills for like basketball or soccer or something like that, where you're getting used to it, or football, think about your roots and things like that. You got to be able to do it physically, and the better shape you're in without having to think about, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I'm running out of breath. Oh, I need to turn. I'm hitting that post. I got to make sure I'm going across the flat, or, I'm trying to break through that back line of a defense.
Right.
If you're in good shape, that's going to put you ahead of most people at your age. Now, as you get older, technicality comes into play. But right now, just being a good athlete is going to make you better than 90% of other athletes.
That's good. Yeah.
Footwork.
Yeah.
It's the thing we all hate doing. And I know that we didn't like it when we had to do it when we were in your shoes. But if you are light on your feet and you can change directions, it makes the game a whole lot slower and it's a lot easier to play. And then my third thing is something that neither of us were good with when we were younger, and we got a lot better at as we got older. It's just keeping your head strong.
Yeah.
Like, just, is something going your way? Don't let it get to your head. Is it not going your way? You're getting bageled? Don't let it get to your head. Like, it's very hard to do, and I'm not going to sit there and pretend like, oh, I was great at it. I wasn't. I got mad. I threw things. I yelled. He did too. I'm going to throw him under the bus with me.
Yeah,
but as we got older, we realized that doesn't help at all. It just makes you look like an idiot.
Right.
So the sooner you can kind of get those things down, I think the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, I was always told. I have a couple. I was always told, and kind of add on to Collin's, like the Goldilocks scale, right? So like if you're thinking, let me see more, right? Like if mistake, right? Like you weigh these mistakes down, and then like, oh, good shot. You barely move the scale up for something you do positive, right? It should be the opposite. You should be thinking, oh, great shot. Oh, small miss, and you kind of back off a bit, maybe negative. But yeah, I feel like the negative emotions always overcome the positive emotions. And then one other thing I've been trying to work on a lot with kids and high school kids is adaptability. Like once you get into high school tennis, like any level of tennis, but specifically once you get to high school, you're going to play people who, let's say you're a baseliner, you just want to sit on the baseline. Okay, well, I run into someone who's a better baseliner than me, right? Instead of me just sitting back there, I'm just going to go baseline to baseline and lose to this person. You need to have that mindset to think, okay, this person also loves to be on the baseline, so maybe I should start hitting some shorter balls. I should start coming to net more. Maybe throwing a serve and volley, right? Try to throw them off their rhythm. So yeah, trying to be adaptable and not just, know your style of play. Everybody, has their style, but you need to be able to change it when it's not working. That's a big thing. Yeah.
And what if we always lamented that Americans are terrible at?
Oh yeah. Well, serving volleying. I mean, they're
Yeah,
awful.
we cannot volley.
They're
Americans
terrible.
cannot volley.
Isner
Oh,
should be
it's so
Isner should become
bad.
the greatest serving volleyer of all time.
Yeah, like he's got the serve bot, but like
Like,
if
come
he would
on.
just follow his serves in, I
Yeah.
don't think he would ever get broken.
No. Yeah. I mean,
But
so that's something I've tried to work a lot because I don't think we worked on volleys enough as kids, and like
no,
I don't
definitely
think
not. Especially the backhand side.
yeah. So I've tried to really do that over the past few years. I've gotten a lot more like I try to do tons of volley stuff with kids and just get them comfortable early. That way, it almost becomes a part of their game without them even realizing it. Yeah. So yeah, trying to be adaptable for sure.
And that's something that if you watch pro tennis, and I know that some of you do and most of you probably don't, but it's true with any sport. But I mean, tennis is individualistic. Like you don't have the team to rally around you.
Right.
Is that what sets Djokovic and Federer and Nadal and Murray and on the women's side, Serena or Kerber or any of the players like that, Halep, any of them,
Yeah.
is when they go up against a player who's better than them at something. So like when Halep, who's gotten a lot better in the last couple of years, Serena could just out hit her.
Yep.
So she's like, let's find these angles, let's kind of dink and dunk and make Serena come out of her comfort zone, or something like that. Djokovic sees that, Nadal has those huge groundies.
Yeah.
So he's like, let's make him move around, which he's still good at, but then it takes him from being able to just rip that forehand.
Yeah.
It's what all greats have to do is, it might not be what you want to do, but it's what you got to do.
Yeah, because there's always someone better than you at your style of play. Like, I'm sorry, but I haven't found a kid that, okay, they're the best at the baseline forever. No one's ever going to be better than them at the baseline, right? You're always going to run
Right.
into people that are better at what you do than you. So, yeah.
I mean, that's something that we, ran into as well, because you and I have almost exact opposite games of each other. Like you hit really hard and flat, and I
Yeah.
have these big looping ground strokes. And that alone kind of neutralizes each other because I put it way up out of his comfort zone and he keeps it too low for my Western forehand. So, I mean, even both of us who like the baseline,
Yeah.
that alone kind of messes with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you want to bring up? Any advice? Any just general knowledge you'd like to impart on them before you head on your way?
I mean, again, I feel like I've said it a couple of times, but it's been most important for me is just like you need to find something you enjoy, find your passion, don't get locked down on a certain thing just because it seems like the right thing for you to do, or there's more money in it. I know that's obviously going to be a big factor in some of your career choices, but try to make sure you enjoy something and be passionate about it and not just you're doing it just to do it. Make sure you're going to enjoy doing it for a long time if you need to do that. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for stopping by. I know you're busy with everything at the club and trying to get it back up to normal.
Yeah.
I know we're starting school back up, whatever that's going to look like in a couple weeks. So I've been busy on that.
I'm sure.
But I appreciate it. I'm sure that they will have appreciated it too. And I will talk to you later.
All right. Thanks for having me.